you feel it? Can you feel it? Someone says, can you feel it? Someone says, can you feel it? Someone says.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's another segment of the AT podcast, and today I have with me Miss Leis, and we're gonna discuss about the residential issue that's going on. But before we proceed, I want to get a minute of silence for those kids that we lost, 250 kids. Thank you, thank you. So I have some question I'm gonna ask Miss Lace about this incident and about our experience about the what go on with those kids. So Miss Lace, welcome to my podcast. This is the AT podcast, and my first question is, why are we wearing an orange shirt?
So, the reason that you'll see people wearing orange shirts is to acknowledge the children and families that were impacted by the Indian residential school system that is here in Canada. But that's just the start of it. So it's great to see lots of people around wearing orange shirts, but that's just the very start. So when you're wearing that orange shirt, the thing that goes along with it is having those conversations. And talking about residential schools is really difficult to begin with, especially since we know that like what happened was horrific. Indigenous people were murdered, it was cultural genocide, and it's a really dark part of Canada's story. But talking about it is the first step towards healing and learning about it so that we can do better in the future. So it's great to see people wearing orange shirts, but be there to support one another and be willing to learn about what's happened in Canada and how it impacts society today.
That's wonderful, Miss Liz, and that's a good information. The reason why we put on the orange shirt, and I know a lot of students do that, and teachers and everybody that's in this educational department. So my next question, Miss Liz, is like, what does it mean to be a treaty member?
That's a good question. So to be a treaty member, like a treaty is an agreement that's signed by both sides. So whether you are Indigenous or whether you are a person who's had the privilege to live and learn on Indigenous land, you are a treaty member. So I've had sorry, can we cut this
So
out?
Continue.
I've
You're
had
on
the
point.
privilege of,
Yeah.
I grew up on Treaty 7 territory and now I live on Treaty 6 territory. So I've had the privilege to learn and grow, and I've gotten a lot of teachings from like Indigenous elders, and I'm very thankful for the opportunities that I've had to learn about the cultures and for people to also educate me. So the Canada like that exists in reality is not the Canada that I learned about in school. We kind of got we got the sugar-coated version. So I think it's really important to be open-minded and learn. And as a treaty member, doesn't mean you're always going to have the answers, but taking the time and being willing to listen. I think that's a big part of it.
That's wonderful. Thank you very much, Leslie. You know, this thing is going on is very devastating because to see those kids passed away and people so viciously, you know, kill somebody just for the human race. I think it's odd, and I think it's really, really bad. And you know, peace be to those kids. You know, may they rest in peace. So, Miss Lace, where do we go from here?
That's a good question. For me personally, I want to do better to make sure that I'm a good ally, and because I work in an educational institution, I think it's really important to listen, have an open mind, and do what I can to make sure that I'm not teaching a version of history or the past that is not accurate, and moving forward and learning and making space for Indigenous voices so that we can move forward and we can actually focus on healing. So truly supporting one another, being respectful, and also being humble and willing to learn. I know that nobody likes being told that they're wrong, but that's an important part of this journey.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate your time and your effort the knowledge that you send out there to the people. You know, I learned from it. I want to thank you for that. It's an honor. And the AT podcast is about making the world a better place one day at a time. And we're going to continue to have some of this discussion as time goes on. And we learn education. That's where we stand. Thank you, everybody. Have a good day. Peace.